And it is the final segment on Inside the Gamecocks, the show built by the Barn Co. and powered by our friends at Electric Bikes of Charleston. I just got to say this. I talked to Michelle sent me a text this morning. She's so sweet because she found out. I don't know how people find out this stuff, but obviously she found out today was a special day for me. And we chatted back and forth. They are just the best people.
Jamie.
Well, I'm not on Facebook. I don't use Facebook.
Yes, you are. Your birthday is.
But I don't
use it. It's a matter of public record.
No,
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not a Facebook.
Jamie, is today your birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man. You just turned, what, 28?
You know what? I wish I did. I didn't realize what people meant when they say, you feel it when you get older. Perry, you'll get here one day. It sucks, man. I stayed up last night because I'm almost done with season 2 of Lioness, and I fell asleep with one of my daughters. Woke up at 10:30, couldn't go back to bed, so I went downstairs, popped on the fireplace, figured I'd watch one episode. That was episode 3. Episode 7 ended at 3:30 in the morning. So, I just couldn't help myself. But anyways, special shout out to Michelle Wilkins and the folks at Charleston Fitness Equipment, Electric Bikes of Charleston. They got all kinds of deals and stuff going this holiday season. I'm not going to sit here and this isn't a sales pitch. Their stuff sells itself, whatever it's priced at. They are the finest, nicest people on the planet. They really are. So if anybody's going to get anything fitness equipment related or you need an electric bike, there's nobody on earth you should shop with before you shop with Electric Bikes in Charleston or Charleston Fitness Equipment. Plus, they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They'll take care of you, all that stuff. That, a lot of these places you go buy something, there's no customer service afterwards. Not them, man. We are so honored to work with them. So hello to Michelle and Dan and the Wilkins family. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and thanks for what you do. I mentioned the state championship games. Again, we got the first one kicking off here in 26 minutes, Clinton and Barnwell. And I mentioned Jaden Sellers, but that's pretty poor because there are other South Carolina signees that are battling for state titles as well. When Abbeville plays tonight at 7:30, DeMarcus Leach will be on the field for Abbeville. He, of course, is a safety, a 6'2", 280-pound safety who has signed with the Gamecocks. We all know about Linares' brother, Jaden, and South Florence will be playing tomorrow night at 7:30. Donovan Murph, the wideout from Irmo, is not committed yet, but, certainly watching that, I'd say, as closely as you can. That's a 6 o'clock kick on Saturday. And if you want to see what a future quarterback at South Carolina looks like, South Florence is going to face him, Cutter Woods, with Westside tomorrow night at 7:30 on Friday night. So good luck to all those gentlemen as they play in state championships. All right, Perry. Man, we got 20 minutes with you, and we'll get you out of here. We know you got to get to work. Reminder, protectwithbear.com. If you come home and you got a porch pirate up there and he's stealing your holiday gifts, you beat the crap out of him, somebody sues you, you don't want to deal with that. Go to protectwithbear.com and write to Bears Got Your Back. Get rid of the porch pirates, kick their ass, and be covered with protectwithbear.com. I made all that up, Perry, but it's the truth.
Self-defense. We'll do it.
That's right. Self-defense, man. That's what you're here for. So, look, let's start with the OC stuff. Mike Shula.
Yeah.
What do you know about him, and what do you think?
He's obviously comes from a football background, pedigree. But
yeah,
from what I know about him, I don't know much from a X's and O's. But I do know he obviously knows that, but I don't know, like, schematically, is he a pro style guy, dual threat, whatever. I know he spent some time with Cam Newton, Carolina Panthers, and did a phenomenal job there. And I look at the development of Linares throughout the season, and I know that Coach Schula had played a huge part in that development as he and Dowell were working together to get him ready to play. But anytime you have a coach of that level of experience, that's been around the game for as long as he has, he's only going to make the guys better. And I had the opportunity to just briefly talk to Coach Schula. I don't know him like I know Dowell. But just a great guy, very welcoming when I was at the coach's clinic, very nice to talk to. Obviously, just you could tell he just knew football. Just a great guy, super friendly. And I have met many college coaches that are not super friendly. They're not personable. They're almost like robotic and a little socially awkward, a little weird. He is not a normal guy, Just loves ball and has done a great job. One of the weird things that I do as a fan is I watch after touchdowns and I watch after poor plays, like the body language of coaches and player and their communication on the sideline. I find that to be really important. And watching, Lenoris operate on the sideline, you could tell that he never seemed flustered. And whether Coach Schula happened to be on the field, from the stands, you can't exactly tell who he's talking to, but from field to wherever he was, the communications they had kept him very composed, level-headed throughout the game. As a former quarterback, now coach, that's my number one job, was always making sure that our quarterback was level-headed and didn't get too high with the highs and low with the lows. You've got to be that one even keel. I know it's not exactly the most rush-filled, run around, scream, smash your head on a wall position, but you got to stay even keeled to best lead your team, and he seemed to have really done that. And what a great opportunity for Shane Beamer to just make an internal hire that was right there, willing, ready, didn't have to go to the market and get this bidding war. And the fact you already had a guy on staff that knows the playbook, that knows the system and knows the players and had a year with the QB. Yeah, I mean, it feels really good. We're in a good spot. We're in a much better spot than we were a few years ago.
It's funny how it can all change so quickly. You're right about that. You wonder if Lenore Sellers wasn't here or if he was departing the program, if there would have been more of an expanded search, if you will. We'll never know the answer to that question. There's no point in speculating because that's not the situation at South Carolina. But I 100% agree with that. And I love what you said. One of the things I do too, not nowhere near on your level, obviously my baseball eyes see the baseball things differently. Your football eyes see the football things differently. But I love watching the quarterbacks, especially after something happens on the field that's a negative, a turnover or something out there that just didn't go their way. And I love watching them on the sideline. And I'm always anxious to see two things. How do they respond themselves once they get back on the field? But also, how are they responding on the sideline? Are they focused on what happened and try? So every time something happened negative with Lenore, every single time, as a matter of fact, there was Mike Shula grabbing him as he walked off the field. And I don't know. I would imagine these things correlate, Perry, because if you look at the second half of the season, anytime something negative happened for Lenore, he responded really freaking well.
Yeah,
it's
all confidence. It's a confidence thing. It's when you make a mistake and you come back and you're not worried about going and making the same mistake again, it allows you to play free. And the last thing, we've talked about this here numerous, the last thing you want Lenoris to do is thinking about anything. He needs to be thinking about the task at hand and let his natural God-given ability just take over. And I think that I think that the staff has done an amazing job of letting him play. One of I have a friend of mine who actually trained with me and then helped me coach a little bit, who's on staff. And, he said, we're going to, as a staff, we're going to allow him a turnover is the phrase that I was told. And whether it was a pick or a fun, because you don't want to come raining down fire and brimstone on somebody like that and handcuff him and his ability, because I personally believe that if you do that, you don't see those miraculous break and spin off third down, throw a dart to somebody to move the sticks and have the game-winning drive. And to just, the Missouri game was over. They had every amount of momentum in the world, and that one play changed the rest of the game. It did, where he broke free and rolled out left and hit the tight end coming back across the field. It was done. If he goes down with a sack, I would put money that it was over. It was ball game. So yeah, it's hats off to them and the staff and Coach Schula, and I'm really, really excited about the move. I think it's great.
I'm gonna take your headset off real quick, Perry. I'm gonna put your fan hat on, okay? So the schedule gets released last night. Phil, pop that schedule up if you don't mind. Feels very cold for anybody wondering his heat went out. He doesn't necessarily dress like this because he wants to. All right, so you look at the beginning of the season next year, Perry, and I'm going to make the argument that those first 5 games before that bye on October the 4th, Virginia Tech and Atlanta, hot Atlanta, it'll be warm. That's in a dome. September 6th against South Carolina State, who's having a remarkable year. By the way, they're going to play in the Celebration Bowl on Saturday. Go Bulldogs. Go Bulldogs. Vandy, and then on the road to the yucky Columbia up there in Missouri. And then the Wildcats come to town. I'm going to make the argument right now that Carolina will be favored in all 5 of those games, and it will be a legit argument. If they win the bowl game, Perry, they're going to come into next season because they have a star quarterback and a Dylan Stewart and guys with big names. They're going to come in the top 15. All right. So, but you have that. Hold on just a second now. You have that star quarterback, right? We just talked about specifically you, and you've said this all year long, so you get the credit for how Lenora Sellers handles everything, adversity, et cetera, et cetera. Knowing that this opportunity is setting up for Carolina. I'm not predicting that they're going to open the season 5-0 or anything. I'm just saying there's an opportunity here that rarely gets presented to the Gamecocks, where they come into the season projected to be one of the best teams in the country and then have a schedule that actually correlates and allows that to maybe be the case for a little while. This offseason is going to be the Lenora Sellers show in Columbia, South Carolina. His name will get mentioned more than anybody else's. And based on what we know, it's going to be on his shoulders to handle this. How does that make you feel, knowing that he is going to be the face of the program with this entire opportunity that lays in front of Gamecock football?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I mean, you look at putting your fan goggles on here, and at LSU, that's probably the highlighted game of the year, the one that stands out to me as that jumps off at the screen because of the venue that it is. But Virginia Tech, I mean, those are good teams, but all incredibly winnable games, as they always are. I'll be intrigued. By that point, we'll know what kind of LSU team we have. But if they're like who they've been, I mean, winnable game. I mean, finish the game. We had it in the bag. Obviously, we had some things go not our way with refs, but I don't want to talk about that anymore. We beat that dead horse. Oklahoma coming to Columbia. I mean, with the transfer portal, it's so hard to predict what kind of team is going to be assembled at what location. Like, I look at Ole Miss, like, what's Ole Miss going to do? Are they going to build a super roster again? I mean, they did that this year and went 9-3. Mm-hmm. Alabama's going to be tough. I really like their coach. DeBoer is a pretty good ball coach. Has done well everywhere he's been. I was shocked to see them have the losses they did and that they had, but they'll consistently be top 10 as long as he's there. And then A&M and Clemson. So looking at the schedule, it doesn't look now, looking back at the season that we've had and the opponents that we played, and then who we have returning. I mean, this is a 10-win schedule. This is 10 wins get you in the playoff. Well, that's basically what we think. Yeah, well, we think that, but I think there's going to be a ton of carnage again, as there is in the SEC, but there was across the country. I think that maybe I'm just got my SEC goggles on here, but the Big Ten is really top heavy. Overall, it's a pretty average, if not below average, conference. When Indiana beats one team with a winning record all year, and he played 12 games, and you lose to the one ranked team you play. I mean, who are they playing all season? So, I think 10 wins get you in, and obviously you're going to have a dogfight against A&M. That's going to be another. At A&M is a tough one. And then home against Clemson. Clemson's not going anywhere. And I was talking to somebody this morning, and I know I'm just being real here. I think that if Dabo entertains the portal to not go out and turn over a roster, but goes out and gets 2 or 3 or maybe 4 guys out of the portal to fit needs on their team. I mean, Clemson's right there. They're a couple really good players away from being right back in the mix. And when I say in the mix, obviously they're in the playoff, but I'm talking about contesting for national titles and I hate to admit that and say that, but it's just the truth. I mean, they're still really good on defense. And, again, one of those, if it wasn't for 16, what does that Clemson game look like? I'm being real here. I'm sure there's people pissed.
No, you're right about that.
But it's the truth. And, but in that same regard, we get 16 back again. So, even with the LSU at A&M, at Ole Miss, I mean, at Missouri's not exactly a cakewalk opening college football with Virginia Tech. Obviously, it's a special game for the Beamer family. Anytime you roll number 16 out there on the field, unless your defense is just trash, you've got a shot to win the game.
Right.
You've got a chance to win the ball game. And so I look at the schedule, and every game on here is winnable. There's a chance that you lose 4, potentially 5 of these if you don't come focused and ready to play. It's another SEC schedule. Missouri's going to be tough. Kentucky's going to play blue-collar defense, and you better believe that Mark Stoops is going to get that thing turned around. I would be shocked if Kentucky was bad again next year. I really would be.
The crazy thing about all this, Perry, is that they've won 9. They're trying to win 10, which we're going to talk to you about that here in just a minute, a little bit. We still got one more before we get to the bowl game, one more show with you. But all of this, the reason that I think it's okay for Gamecock fans to let their guard down a little bit, and I know they don't want to. Yeah, I've been here before, man. I've been hurt. Yeah, I hear you. You're right. I've been there too. But all of this, the first half of the season with the schedule next year and the 10 wins and the hype train, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that's generally pretty scary unless you have a quarterback, and they have one. They might have the best one. Matter of fact, JC, let me ask you this, Perry. I mean, if anybody can come up with one going into next season, who is the face of the SEC? More so than him.
If we win our bowl game, they'll paint him as the face for sure.
I think so too. There's not another quarterback. I mean,
Arch Manning.
Yeah, well, he hadn't played yet. Name only.
It'll be those graphics. It'll be, picture of Lenoris, Arch at the bottom, and a couple other key players, right? But I mean, they go out and win a bowl game. I don't want to overstep in I know we're talking about next year's schedule, but we have the opportunity in a couple of weeks to do something that the program has only done 4 times. Is that what you said, JB?
That's right. Yep, 4.
So this would be the 4th time we've won 10 games. So it'd be the 3-11, 5th time.
No.
So we had 3-11 wins.
Yeah.
And then when did we win 10 games? One other than that?
84.
You were part of the 13 team.
Yeah. That was the year they lost to Navy, the Patrick Davis song.
Yeah.
In 80.
You were on 25% of the 10-win seasons, Perry. You. By being there once.
Literally was because of me. So
well, that's a good point.
It's good, man.
Team player.
No, that's crazy. That's a huge accomplishment. And I know that to maybe some of the other premier blue chip quote programs out there, this is a huge stepping stone into, from everything that I've been told about Coach Beamer, he really does want this to be a one-stop shop. He's trying to copy his dad. I think he saw the lifestyle that his dad had at Virginia Tech of, win 9 games, compete for a national title every 6-7 years, or I guess for him every 10 years, but compete for conference titles, playing big-time games, playing big-time bowl games, be relevant in college football. Virginia Tech was relevant for a long time.
Yeah. Good point.
And you'll have a 20-year career at the school. He'll be here as long as he absolutely wants to, as long as you do what we did this year or close to it.
And this is a hard job. It always has been, but every SEC job is hard. South Carolina is one of the best teams in the SEC, therefore one of the best in the country this season. I think Virginia Tech, and I think this is why Shane likes this job. And people speculate that one day he'll go back to Blacksburg. I'm not so sure about this because it's Columbia. Number one is a much bigger place. It's closer to more talent. Number 2, Virginia Tech's way in the southwestern corner of Virginia. It's very isolated, away from all their talent pockets. And then the state of South Carolina, shoot, we may in the next decade we have 7 million people living in the state.
Oh, great!
And you're, yeah,
that's,
I hate to.
They're all going to JB's area.
Yeah,
dude, I've had enough of this.
Right about the time I move back, it'll be like Austin, Texas. But no, that just like what's happening in Tennessee now. You go from having 15 or so Power 4 guys a year at the high school ranks to like 25 or 30.
Yeah.
And it sets you up almost like, LSU and Georgia and those schools are set up, especially as long as Dabo's at Clemson, he doesn't recruit the state, So there's some future there where I think Perry, if things break a certain way, they could be really, really good in time. Shane could be really, really good here.
I agree.
Unprecedentedly good.
No, I mean, I think you put the guardrails around the state, and then you go to the other high-profile areas to get fits you need. Plus, you do the portal well, and you have to play the game. Like, you can't be, I've always done it this year, and the portal's ruined football. Like, you either accept it for what it is because it ain't going anywhere, and you play the cards, you play the hand that you're dealt, and you build the program, right? You have that culture of caring and being there for the kids and forming the relationships that impact the kids that make them not want to leave. Then you go and you find the pieces, much like what Dabo's done. But then you put the pieces in place that you need, like what Coach Beamer has done. Then I mean, we are a really bad call. We are a
bad one.
A really bad one, or maybe Lenore staying healthy away. We would have played for the SEC title.
Yep.
And
that's
next
in
year,
year four.
If we go out and get another pass rusher, now I'm not saying our next guy has to win the. How do you say it? The Nargos. What is the award Kennard just won?
The Nagurski Award.
Nagurski. Thank you. You're not going to have to go out and find the best defensive lineman in the country but you got to have somebody over there on the other end to help support Dylan Stewart. If you rush the passer and stop the run on defense, everything else takes care of itself. And then
it's no different from the 3 straight 11 wins, Perry. You were part of that. You knew what it looked like. It was the trenches.
Yeah.
You win in the trenches and you have a great quarterback. You have a great quarterback. You win in the trenches. You win games.
Yep. And then the other thing I would add is just explosive plays, natural explosive, not manuscript or created, but players just playing and being really good at football. Those you tie a couple of those things together, and you have the chemistry and the culture that Coach Beamer's got. I don't expect things to slow down. I really don't. I think that.
Well, an exhibit A of that is Perry Orth, 66 yards, College Station, Texas, 2015.
Oh, man, we'll bring it
down the sideline. Hey. Everybody pack a lunch, finish that lunch, grab a beer, take a nap. He's still running.
Hey, this got lost on all of us. I was looking at some stats there. Carolina is like 4th in the SEC in explosive plays on offense this year.
Yeah, and 2nd in the league in scoring in SEC play. Hey, man, I know you got to go. It's just 155. If you got 10 seconds, quickly something on Dowell taking the job at App State. I know you're a big fan of his.
Huge fan. Dowell's a great guy, man. Great football coach. Great guy. Is gonna do a great job at App State. Had the opportunity to reach out to him and wish him the best. And all the quarterbacks that are obviously still training QBs here in the state. And I told him that anybody that I feel that is of that caliber, App State's going to be in my Rolodex of schools for them to go see. So. Appreciate his time here, and maybe one day, hopefully one day he's not back, because that means it didn't go super well wherever he's at, but I'm glad he's not going too far, and looking forward to connecting with him here sometime this spring.
Perry, we'll chat with you next week. We'll get your bowl plan, see if you're going down there or not, and all that type of stuff. We'll look at the game with Illinois, and we'll wish you a Merry Christmas then, but we always appreciate having you, man. You mean a lot to our program and to our audience and to the University of South Carolina. You do a wonderful job every single week here. Thanks so much for what you do.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.